Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bantamweight Boxing YouTube channel with me, your host, Michael Waite. Giggling a little bit there to myself as this is probably the fourth time I've done that intro. I might need to, I can't get rid of it because I've been doing it since I started. But sometimes I get my words mixed up, which I did quite a few times. But anyway, I'm back. Back again, made a video recently about Joe Joyce, was yesterday actually, about his fight against Zhilei Zhang, and I kind of got the bug for making YouTube videos again, so look out on your channels or on your home pages because there's plenty more to come. Your prayers have been answered. I will be making boxing YouTube videos again. So yeah, let's get into it. I was thinking about what to do a video on, and I was looking at the calendar and saw that it was the Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis fight this weekend. So I thought, let's do a prediction on that. You know, give my viewers a chance to place a bet down and make some money. So yeah, I'm gonna run through probably their strengths and weaknesses. You know, kind of their game plans. You know, if they were to listen to me, what I'd tell them to do. And then finally finish off with my prediction, the bit you're all waiting for. But before I get into that, I think you've got to have a moment of silence, a moment of boxing silence for these two, just to thank them for putting on this fight and giving us something as boxing fans to look forward to. You know, these two fighters are massive names in the sport. They're superstars in the ring and outside the ring. I think they've actually got more followers than I do on Instagram and YouTube. So that just gives you an idea of how big these fighters are. But in all seriousness, they are massive, and they've got a lot to lose, and they could easily keep going on fighting, you know, lesser named opponents, making a lot of money, but they've decided to both get in the ring with each other for our entertainment. And also, probably as well, they're making a couple of £1 million, but that's side the point. You know, they're getting in and they're telling, you know, they're teaching these other fighters what needs to be done. So props to them. Anyway, into the strengths and weaknesses. I won't spend too long on this, but looking first of all at Ryan Garcia, I think there's kind of probably three things that come to my mind. You know, great power. Saw him knock out Luke Campbell, seen him knock out, you know, most fighters he's been in there with. So that's obviously, you know, real strong point on his behalf. That does come with as well probably his second strength, which is his speed. You know, he obviously does hit hard, but I think a lot of his knockouts, if you saw his last knockout, it comes with his speed. Fighters don't even see the punch coming. And you know what they say, is sometimes the punches you don't see that knock you out. So yeah, his power, his speed, and I would also say, you know, his athleticism is probably the third. You know, his physical size, you know, for that weight category, he's a big guy, and he's going to have the range on Gervonta Davis. So that's going to dictate a lot of the fight. You know, he's got that initial advantage of being able to keep that range. And let me add as well to the power point. I'd probably say that left hook he has probably deserves a point in itself, you know, as a strength. The way he whips out that left hook is mean. You know, the speed and power on that is very impressive, and he utilizes that very well. And I think that will come in handy as well, especially against a southpaw like Tank Davis, because just the way that Davis will be standing, you know, it does lend itself to Ryan's left hook. So yeah, that was to say, that's what you know what I was saying about the bit at the start about the getting my words tangled up. Yeah, so I'd say that would be his strengths. Weaknesses, you know, both these fighters don't have many weaknesses. They're, you know, kind of top of their game. But what would I say is a weakness for Garcia? I'd say it's probably he's there to be hit. You know, defensively, he's not, you know, he's okay and he can counter punch. I'd say he's a good counter puncher, but sometimes he does get a bit caught up in, you know, his offense, throwing, you know, punches and bunches, and you know, he is there to be hit on the occasion. So I would say defensively he's not the most sound fighter, and there will be opportunities for Tank to land his big shots. Moving on to Tank, you know, a lot of the strengths are quite similar. Tank is a very hard hitter. Again, probably pound for pound the hardest hitter in boxing right now. They call him the mini Mike Tyson. So obviously punching power, not much needs to be said on that. Just look at the resume of the amount of knockouts. I'd also say one of his biggest strengths is probably his ring IQ. It's very methodical in what he does, takes his time, picks his punches. People make a lot of comparisons actually to Canelo as a fighter. They're both kind of happy to lose rounds, to kind of work out their opponent, pick their shots, and then they kind of work out where their opponent's weaknesses are, and then usually get them knock them out usually later on in the fight. So yeah, I'd definitely say Tank's ring IQ is one of his strongest attributes. In terms of weaknesses, I suppose I don't know if this I was about to say a weakness, but I suppose I'm kind of contradicting myself, because I'd say maybe his weakness could be, it's not been exploited yet, but maybe a weakness could be sometimes he does lose a lot of rounds, and he does lose rounds because he's so confident that he can knock the opponent out, and so far that's worked out for him. And if he's doing what Canelo's doing, then if we're comparing to Canelo, he's clearly doing all right. But I would say that could be a bit of a weakness. He could lose rounds. He sometimes needs to be a bit more active, I suppose, to just nick those rounds. But those would be my strengths and weaknesses. There's not much on the weakness side, as I said before, they're both top fighters. Now, what I'd advise both fighters to do, Tank, I would say go with his standard game plan, take his time, try not to lose too many rounds, but at the same time, do what he does best, which is kind of picking his shots and, exploiting that kind of defense of Ryan Garcia and trying to get that stoppage, as he usually does, kind of later on in the fight. That's, why I would be telling him to kind of focus on. In regards to Ryan Garcia, I'd say with him, he's kind of got two options. Either go for that explode, out of the tracks early, try and go for that knockout early, applying the pressure and not really giving Tank the time to adjust to the speed, because that will take a few rounds for Tank to adjust to, and potentially try and blow him out early. Realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tank will probably be too good, defensively sound for that to really happen. But what I would suggest to Garcia is trying to exploit that weakness of Tank, start off strong, win the early rounds, try and get a knockdown, try and rack up some points. Then I imagine Tank I imagine he will warm into the fight, and it's try and have enough rounds bagged in the tank by the end of the fight to nick it on points. I don't know how good of advice that is for either of them, but that's why I'm not a trainer, and that's why I'm making YouTube videos. But my prediction for the fight, I'm going with Tank to win by stoppage. I think it will be, as I've kind of said, I think Ryan Garcia will have a lot of success early. I think Tank will take his time, figure his opponent out, and I think he will kind of start coming on around round 6 or so. Oh, the phone's dying. Around 6 or so, and I think he'll start, turning the tables there, and I'm predicting around 9 TKO/knockout. That's be my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. If you're excited for the fight, will you be waking up for it? If you're in the UK, I'm definitely going to do that. But yeah, do like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and have a good evening. See you later. Bye.